watch the shootout, brought to you by Northtown Lexus. And for any of those out there who may have questioned the Sabres' toughness, I think all those questions are answered tonight after a 6-5 shootout win in which they showed their grit tonight to come back and win this hockey game against the Ottawa Senators. So many highlights to get into. Let's do it here. Mike and Rob will be along in a moment. To the first period, and Ottawa would jump out to a 2-0 lead on the power play here. Daniel Alfredson on the empty side there is 21st in the power play at 11:01. And then about a minute 50 later, it was Danny Heatley beating Marty Biron for his 34th of the year. 2-zip lead for the Sens. But the Sabres would come back at 17:43. See Stafford in front of that to Ryan, and Chris Drury there to go top shelf over Ray Emery. Drury's 33rd, adding to his career high on the season so far. Again, Ryan and Stafford on the assist at 17:43. Sabres out hitting Ottawa in the first period by a score of 13-6. Ottawa did lead 2-1 after the first. Let's go to the second period, which will probably be the most talked about period for many reasons all season long. You see Buffalo ties it up here. Thomas Vanek sneaks in there on the power play from Pominville's shot. Vanek on the 30 goals for the season there with that one. And then just 39 seconds later, steals the puck at the blue line, takes it in, goes backhand deep, and Vanek scores his 31st from Roy and Newman. And then it would happen. Watch Chris Neal, after Drury clearly had taken a shot, a late hit on Chris Drury, and that sent Drury out, and then Lindy put the guys out there in the ensuing face-off, and Andrew Peters will get things started going on Danny Heatley, and Adam Mayer also on Jason Spezza. Notice the Sabres go after their star players. Ottawa goes after Buffalo's. Sabres go after theirs. Emery and Biron go at it. Then Lindy Ruff and Brian Murray between the benches. At one point, Razor was right there. We'll ask him in a moment. Looked like they were going to hop down. I think Lindy was inviting him to go down. We'll find out from Razor in a moment. Ensuing 5-on-3 because Buffalo got two instigators. Heatley scores his second of the night, 35th on the season to tie the game at 3. However, Buffalo grabbed the lead going in the locker room. Under 2 minutes ago, Clark MacArthur scores his first NHL goal right there. So we're going to get to the third period in a moment, 4-3. But right now I want to go to Daniel Briere, who joins us. And first off, Danny, congratulations on a win under the circumstances with what occurred there in the second period. What are your thoughts on what happened?
I mean, it's a great win for us. For team-wise, team chemistry-wise, I mean, it's one of the best win probably all year. Now a lot of the guys stepped up. The guys that usually don't play as much had to play a lot of ice time, and some guys stepped up to defend Chris Drury, which I thought was great.
What did you see on the play on the hit?
I think it's a useless play there. I mean, you know, it's so dangerous, and I hope the NHL does something to protect one of their star player. I mean, that's, you know, I don't want to go too in detail in what I think of the guy who did that and what happened, but I'm definitely very frustrated with what happened, and hopefully the NHL will take care of it.
Well, Rob and Mike are getting here in 1 second. One more thing. I mean, you know, clearly it was a late hit, at least in my eyes, and I know you guys think it too. For obviously. Do you think you guys are being targeted by teams and by players, you know, like Chris Neal's not a frontline player for them? I think that's fair to say, for me to say anyways, that are going at star players like Chris.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, he picks his spots, and, you know, we have to be careful. And then, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, I think, playing tough and playing physical, but I think that's crossing the line. When you're trying on purpose to hurt people and you go for their heads like he did on that play, I think that's crossing the line. And I mean, we've seen a lot of teams play more physical with us and you know, bump and finish all their checks, and you know, we haven't heard any of us complain about that. But when you're out there to deliberately try to hurt someone, then I think that gets to be a problem.
Danny, when you think back of the whole season, can you think of a gutsier win than tonight, considering you had to play with Drury without him the last half, and plus all the injuries you went into the game with? I mean, I'll tell you, Ottawa had no excuses.
No, and like you said, we had all the excuses in the world, but we just went to work. A lot of guys played out of character. Different guys killing penalties, blocking shots, doing the little things that usually you know, Chris Drury would be doing or Andrew Peters would be doing that were out of the lineup. And I mean, I could go down the list with all her injuries. But you know, like I said, just for the team, for the mental side of our team, that was a great win, a gutsy win, like you said, probably our best of the year.
Well, Daniel, I'll tell you, you want to be proud of your teammates, the way they stuck up for Chris, the way they went after, you know, Spez and those guys. Those are the ones you want to go at. You don't want to have to go after the, you know, the Volchekovs with that. You want to send a message, send it to their star players too. That's exactly what it did. But talk about how big of a game when Ryan Miller came in. He was fabulous.
He was fabulous. He made some big saves. I mean, we could go down the lineup. Everybody, I thought, stepped up their play, and Ryan certainly did when he came out. I mean, it wasn't easy for him stepping up like that on a 5-on-3 for 2 minutes, and another power play to kill right after. Made some key saves. Our 5-on-3 killers were great. But like you said, you know, for our guys to step up like that, they attacked one of our best player, and they went straight after their guys. And you know, it's the way it's got to be. And like I said earlier, I hope the league really does something about that, because that was ridiculous.
Daniel, does this carry over? You've got your next games with Ottawa again. Does this carry over into the next game?
I don't know. I mean, you know how it is, those games. Sometimes you expect so much and nothing happens. I mean, you know, it depends how it goes. Sometimes during the plays, some little things might happen and get the fire burning again. Or it might be a quiet game, just the way it was for the last period tonight. I really don't know what to expect right now.
Danny, final thing, have you seen Drew? Have you had a chance to talk to him?
We saw him in between periods, yeah. You know, he was cut. He had some stitches, and you know, we'll see tomorrow how everything plays out, and hopefully he's all right, and we can get him back in the lineup as soon as possible.
All right, Danny, thank you, and congratulations on the win, and good luck Saturday in Ottawa. All right, Daniel Briere joining us there. We have Mike and Rob with us here, and you know, let's talk about the hit again. You know, obviously, late to me. I mean, you've got late hit. There's no need for it, is there?
Well, that's the problem. You know, he was in a vulnerable position. He makes the play. The puck goes to the net. He's watching it. You know, Neil comes blindsided. You know, he hits him. You know, that's not part of the game. And this is something we always talk about. You know, those hits are something that has to be taken out. You know, whether it's Christer or anybody, a player is getting hurt here. And this could cost him time out of the lineup. All this type of thing at this point of the year, it hurts everybody. But you know what? Go at them the way they did, yes, that was good, but you know what? It's still there. The league itself has to do something. The league itself has to change the rules, because things like this are going to continue to happen, and it's wrong. And, you know, whether it's a star player or not, you know what? Things have to be changed from the top, and it works its way down. You know what? Point a finger at Chris Neil. Yeah, he screwed up. He should not have done what he did, and he should pay retribution. But you know what? Point your finger at the league, too, because these guys need to do something about players in the league. There's no fear. There's no fear. You know, there's no fear that Chris Neil goes out there and he hits Chris Drury. What does he have to back up? Our guys go out and send a message. They get all thrown out of the hockey game, and then it's all over with. You know what? If you could, every time Chris Neil went back on the ice, you should have got a piece of him. Because that's what you know, and that's what the league is trying to get away from. But you know what? On the other hand, that's what they're promoting too, because you never would have had that whole situation tonight if they had been done and dealt with the way it's supposed to.
You know, when you're getting into a late hit, there's nothing clean about it. I mean, you hit somebody late, they're just too vulnerable. I mean, there's things that happen on a late hit. For instance, the guy he makes his play, looks around, and then he continues on. He wants to be back in the game. He takes his mind and his eyes off the situation. His thinking is into something different. It's the next play, the next pass, and then suddenly out of the blue. Now, in regards to the NHL, I don't think we heard them talk more about anything in head injuries. They're going to protect players from head injuries. They do everything they could to put an end to head injuries. It's as critical as any component in this game, because you're so vulnerable. You just let things go at that point, and it's a mess. I mean, a broken arm is one thing, man, but
they talk about it though, Mike. They talk. Well, that's all they do is talk. They don't take action.
And they made an issue of it for the last 2 or 3 years. They were going to stop it. Now it has just happened. What will happen?
Well, it has to be addressed, because somebody is going to get seriously hurt, you know, and be done, be out of their career, maybe physically damaged for the rest of their life. That's why it has to be changed. And these guys talk about instigator rule. Oh, we don't want to mess with that. You know, everything's good the way it is. Garbage. It needs to be changed, because there's no respect.
They did change it for next year. It's going to go to 5 instigators before suspension for next year. The general managers have voted on that. And I know Darcy Regier has brought up the headhunting issue in fall meetings. You know what? Talked to him about it. He's brought it up. And there's other GMs, too, that have been saying, all right, we've got to eliminate this. And you'd think amongst the players.
Why don't the players do something about it also? If the National Hockey League, they don't want to make a major issue of it, then the players maybe step up and protect themselves.
You know, you talked about the play. You talked about the play. And, Matt, if we could throw the video up of the play again, because I think this needs to be pointed out. And it goes to your point of the league should do something about this. What the league should do, and you guys certainly have better authority on this, having played in the league and having dealt with the league on discipline issues. I'm sorry to bring that up, but they should look at this video, and Neil's not even in the play. I mean, his hit, what does it matter on the play? It's not his man. It's not even there, and he goes in clearly. I mean, he knows who the player is, right? I mean, he knows who the player is. He can veer off and not go at Chris Drury. But, hey, I got a chance to take out Chris Drury. I mean, that's at least what I have to assume is going through his head. No?
Even at that point, you can pull up a little bit also.
Yeah, but even knowing the way Chris Neil plays, you know what? He plays hard, yeah, but you know what? He can't play out of the rules the way he did. You know, he's going to walk into that dressing room, he's going to watch this, and he's going to know he screwed up. You know what? And you take the league is going to try to take all the pressure off themselves and say, oh yeah, you players, just like you're saying, hey, do it yourself, you know, police yourself out there. Well, you know what? That's what happened for years, and there was no problems, there was no hitting from behind, there was no headshots when it was policed by the players. Now it's not policed by the players, it's policed by the NHL, a bunch of guys in Toronto or New York that never even played the game. Gary never played the game, does not know. Went in there one time for a suspension, and I go, it's a very emotional game. You've got to have your emotions under control. Well, I'll tell you, Gary, you know what? I'm under the pressure performing. I'm under the pressure to do my job, produce, and all that type of thing. And the whole game situation, you know, sometimes you don't think right. And that's what he does. That's what he's trying to say. He's saying, oh, you should be under control yourself. Well, you can't sometimes because the pressure of the game and everything that's going on, you lose it a little bit. But that's why he's taking it away from himself and throwing it on the players. That's garbage. The league's got to do it.
You know, we're going to hear Lindy Ruff's post-game press conference. But, Mike, let me ask you this. And you know, Lindy did the right thing putting his guys out there, didn't he? Particularly after coming off the Philadelphia game, a team that was very physical, and he got Umberger going after Brian Campbell to, I don't know if settle a debt's the right word. It was a clean hit Campbell had on Umberger, so, you know, I don't know what score there was to settle there, but you had guys going after players who aren't the enforcers on Tuesday. And then you got another game where your top player, one of your top players,
if it's not going to happen after that incident tonight, it would never happen. I mean, that was the perfect time when I like they went after the right players. And going after the wrong players, I mean, you're just wasting your time. They went after the right players. Now, that sends a very strong signal also to other teams in the NHL that this team is going to roll over physically. They stood up tonight. They did a big job in the physical department. Come back and get control of this hockey game. They didn't wilt and fall over in the corner. A lot of young kids in this team stood up on their hind legs and really put their best efforts in here to make this happen.
Yeah, it's a good point, too, and we're going to show it. We left off after the second period after all that occurred to talk with Daniel Briere. Let's go to the third period and show you how Buffalo won this very important game to get 2 points and get an extra point up on Ottawa. You see in the third here, Dmitry Kalinin, boy, he's been doing this the last few weeks, joining the rush, and you can tell his confidence is building now.
Yeah, he's getting up, he's making it happen, and you're seeing him when you're down on an ice level. He's smiling, he's happy, he's involved in the game. He's not coming to the bench with his head hanging, you know, wondering what's going on and feeling the pressure of everything. He's relaxed out there, and he's playing the way he needs to.
Buffalo up 5-3 at that point. Wade Redden somehow sneaks that one through on Ryan Miller. Certainly one of those the goaltenders say they'd want back on that. And then this one was just strange the way it occurred. Fisher, and I don't think Miller saw that.
Well, you know what? He was down. He was trying to cover as much net as possible. You know, it's just one of those facts. You throw the puck at the net. Good things happen sometimes. Exactly what it is.
I'm going to break these highlights now, too. And again, apologize for hopping all those places. We want to catch Lindy Ruff live. Let's go to it.
Well, I guess to start at the beginning, you're saying it was not a dirty hit on Drury. What's your...
My take on it is that it was a late hit and it was a dirty hit. I don't agree with the hit. It was late. He was vulnerable at the time, and it was a shot to his head that I don't condone those types of hits.
How is he?
He's okay. He's okay. I think he wanted to come back and play, but he took a pretty good shot.
Do you think he'll miss any time, Coach?
It's possible, yeah. Yeah.
Is it a concussion?
Well, you know, it looked like he was out for a while, so it would be.
Lindy, does it matter if it's an elbow that strikes him to whether or not it's dirty?
It's a late dirty hit. I mean, we can't make. If you watch it, you know, Chris has shot the puck. It's a second or two late. It's he just took real advantage of somebody who was in a vulnerable position.
Coach, did the injury occur when he hit him with his elbow or shoulder, or when he his head?
How do I know?
No, I mean,
how do I know?
No, I'm just asking.
I mean, the easy answer is they're going to say it.
Oh,
I saw shoulder, elbow hit his head.
Okay.
I don't know when the injury. I mean, nobody's going to know that for sure.
I just want to know if it was if you saw the elbow hit his head, because Murray claims that it was.
I know he's going to claim that.
Right.
He's going to claim that in defense of his player. I'm okay with that. He can claim whatever he wants.
But if he goes high with the shoulder, I mean, it looked as if he kind of went high with the shoulder.
It's a dirty shot while the player was vulnerable and he didn't have the puck anymore, and it was seconds late. And I don't care whether it was when he hit the ice or when the shoulder, elbow, forearm, whatever hit him. It's a dirty shot.
What did you think of the way your players responded?
You can't respond any other way. I was so proud of those guys. I mean, there was a little bit too much emotion into that. I don't condone the tail end of it with Andrew, but you get caught up in the emotion, and the players did the right thing.
I didn't like this, the way it came about, the way the players came together. I don't know if I've ever seen them as happy after a win as I saw them tonight when they went out to congratulate Miller. Can you use this as you go forward now?
Well, we haven't needed much, but if we can use it, we will. I mean, it's been a gutsy effort all year long. It's been a gutsy effort night in, night out. It's been a real gutsy effort with the amount of injuries, but you have to believe in the guys you put out there. And I thought our young guys did a tremendous job. Every one of them. I think we went out and we set the tone. You know, we got some penalty trouble early, but you know, we threw a lot of emotion into that game, and you know, that's a tough game to come out and win. At one point we had five forwards left on the bench with Nathan Page playing forward to make two lines.
How difficult is that for Miller to have to come in cold and face a two-man advantage like that and make the saves he did? Well,
it's you know, you have to be prepared as a goaltender to come in any situation. I mean, you can sit there, but at any time there can be an injury in the game, and he has to be prepared. And I think it's an extremely tough situation to come in. I thought he handled it great. I thought our killers did a real good job with it. But at the same time, you know, his preparation has to be, I may play any time in this game. And I thought he was ready to play and did a good job for us.
Lindy, were you surprised that after the Drury hit that Murray sent out the Spezza line? Not anticipating that something might happen? Are you surprised to see him on the ice, I guess is the question.
I'm not commenting on anything they did.
What do you think? What do you expect Saturday? Carryover, or he said it'll just be a hockey game.
Well, I would anticipate it's a hockey game, but in a hockey game, lots of things can happen. You know, what type of hockey game are you talking about? You know, I think they're going to pour a lot of emotion into that game. But I'm okay with that. Our guys are okay with it. It's a pretty resilient group that we're going to go out and play hockey.
Lindy, when you did put out Spezza and Heatley and Alfie, and then you came back with Coletta and Mayer and Peters, you must have had tit for tat on mind.
I'm not going to comment on what I had on my mind. I would go out and run them.
Were you angry at Murray for something that happened that led to what Neil did, or were you angry at Neil?
No, I was angry at Neil and him saying Neil didn't do anything wrong. That's what I was angry at.
Did you hear him say that, and then you responded?
He said it was, yeah. You know, he was upset. Here's what I think Brian was upset at. And I already said I don't condone the tail end where Andrew's emotion ran a little bit hot. But everybody's emotion, mine was running a little bit hot with their goaltender. You know, maybe that was just a little bit too far. But at the same time, they knocked one of our best players. They knocked our captain out of the lineup with what I believe was a dirty shot. And you don't lay down after that. You don't lay down. You don't lay down. I don't care if we lose the game 10-1. You don't lay down after that.
Coach, what was the referee's explanation to you? Why it wasn't a penalty?
We didn't. You know what? He said he didn't see it.
Lindy, who initiated the exchange between you and Brian?
Well, I went down for a second, so I don't know if it was me or him. So it was him standing at the glass yelling.
Lindy, Chris Neal just said that he doesn't believe it was a dirty hit. I hate to...
I'm not going over it again.
Okay.
I gave you what I thought of the hit.
Okay.
Lindy, can you talk about the play of Coletta in his NHL debut?
I thought he played great. I thought, got a point in his first NHL game. He handled the puck well. He tried to go through the end of the rink once, and I think that's the type of emotion that he brings to the game. And I think that type of emotion to any team is a welcome emotion. And what a great night for him. What a great game to be involved with. I don't know if we can copy that on one DVD for him. But
that could have been easy for him being in the situation, going out with Adam and Andrew, knowing that all hell was going to break loose.
No, as I'm saying, he handled the game extremely well. I'm extremely proud of the way he played, and he's got to be extremely proud of the way he handled the game too. It was not easy. I went to Clark MacArthur and I told him, go to the young guy and tell him to relax and play a little.
When you consider all that happened in that hockey game, was that, and you win it, was that one of the more entertaining, exciting games you've been involved with lately? I mean, that was a pretty...
We've had a lot of entertainment in this building this year and the last year and a half, and I think, you can wrap your arms around what the players did. I mean, they deserve a lot of credit for what they did tonight and how they stuck up for each other and how hard they played. And we've got at one time there was more Rochester Americans sitting on the bench, I think, than there was Buffalo Sabres, and we still came up on top. So that effort is something just wrap your arms around, embrace, and say, these guys just don't quit.
One more question to wrap up. You guys were tight before, but I mean, how much does that bring a group together, especially in the situation you're in?
I think you look at it from franchise-wide, from the guys down below to the, Coletta coming in and playing with 5 or 6 guys that are already here, and yet, you just feel good about it. You feel good about, walking in the room, and it's really just sort of, you feel like one big family there, and that was, it was awesome for our guys to go through what they did and come out with a win, and then even killing off the late power play, which, our penalty killing was under a lot of duress, and we didn't have Drury, and we didn't have Gosted. We threw a lot of guys out there that normally don't kill, and they did a fantastic job. So thanks.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff and saying, I don't care what Chris Neal or anybody thinks, it was a dirty hit. When we come back from this break, we'll have the shootout highlights, and we'll have Ottawa coach Brian Murray's response to what occurred and the hit. That is all coming up next. Sabres win 6-5 in the shootout here on MSG. All right, we're back on the Lexus Shootout from Studio 200. We still didn't show you the shootout, how it ended. Comrie, the third shooter for Ottawa. Ryan Miller denies him, so it goes to the sudden death. And Drew Stafford, what a big moment for him, going backhander to beat Gerber for what would be the shootout deciding goal, because Fisher would get a chance, and Ryan Miller, and nice to catch it in your glove to show it at Mike Fisher when you win the shootout.
You know what I like about this guy? He's a quiet man. He does his job. He does it well. But when he's in the shootout, he's got an attitude. He's got an attitude that you're never going to score on me. You're not going to score on me. And when he makes a save, he just likes to send that message to him. Here's the puck, this and that. And you know what? That sends a message to the rest of the guys. They're on the bench. They're going, yeah, Ryan's into this. And also the opposing team is like, oh, man, this guy's in the zone. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to really do something special to put one by him. So it works two ways.
You wonder also what a goal by Stafford, what it means to his career at this point, what it does to his confidence level. And I'll tell you, if he didn't feel part of this team before, he sure feels part of it now. That was really a nice goal under a pressure situation. So that jacks him up a little bit and moves his career on to the next level.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a moment, but let's show you the final stats from the game. And other numbers we're going to show you, too, all the penalties from the melee in the second. But Sabres being outshot tonight, 43-32. Ottawa with more scoring chances. They had some more power play time, and a 5-on-3 certainly added to that. And 3 of 7 on the power play. Sabres 1 of 4 with 8 shots on the power play. And then if we look at, this is the second period scuffle and all the penalty minutes. Emery got 22, Phillips got 10, Volchenkov 5. I don't know why he didn't get called for a third man in, by the way, when Mayer started going at Spezza. But
well, you know the problem is when there's melees like that, you know, it's tough for the referees. The referees are trying to watch everything that's going on. They don't know really who, they know who started it, but they don't know who snuck in. Was he just helping out? Was he just getting a hand in there? You know, so it's a little bit of a discretionary call, but you would think when there was 4 of them out there, they'd figure it out and get it straight. You know, I'll be writing it down. You're standing there, standing back, writing it down. But you know what? Nevertheless, you know what? They did an awesome job. They did what they needed to do. And it's tough. That's a bad situation we put in. They were bold to go out there, not told to go out there, but they go out there. They know the situation, and that's tough because they got to be able to do it in a way that they're not going to really get nailed. You know, Adam had to try to get Jason Spezza coaxed into a fight, or you know, to do something so he didn't get totally nailed. That's hard. If the guy's not going to respond to it, you know, you're putting yourself in a tough position. But he found a way. These guys
like
did
Heatley ducked away from Peters.
Yeah, well, you know what? Things happen like that, but you know what? It was good. These guys never stopped. It just wasn't one. It was everybody got involved, and you know what? Those guys on the bench, even though being shorthanded, you should have seen them. They were still kind of talking about it when they were in the shootout. The guys at the end of the bench, and they were talking, you know, about you got anything left? Oh, you fought in the thing, and there was all that goes such a long ways if you want to draw a team together, and especially a team that's got a bunch of young kids that are finally brought up. Bang, that just sucks them all together. Now they're one big unit because they know they're a part of it. Mike said, you're a part of that team now. They've done something. They battled together. They've been on the front lines. Bang, they're a team now. They're not just a bunch of guys.
And that's the point I wanted to bring up with you with Drew Stafford. He said what a big goal for his career. What a big goal for the immediacy of this team right now, Mike, where you know, all the fans right now are emailing us and speculating. They got to go out and get somebody because of injuries. When you got a guy like him and MacArthur who scored a big goal tonight that can come up, and Ryan played a lot of ice time given the situation. When they can do, and I know I'm forgetting other guys, but when they can do what they did, you know, maybe, just maybe, they've got what they need because of these guys.
I don't have a problem with that at all. I know they're beating the drums for trades and they have to make a move here and there. Well, possibly. If that situation comes up, they'll address it. They'll make that decision. But they pretty well put everything out in the line financially to put this team right up on top, and that's where it is right now. And they've done it with the players they have. And getting back to little stepping stones, you bet tonight was another level. They move up. They move up as a team. That meant something. It means something to each individual player, and all they do is get better from it.
All right, and we'll get the email one second. By the way, Lindy Ruff did say Chris Drury said he's okay. The cut could miss sometime. We'll wait and see on that. All right, let's go to an email. Shootout@sabres.com. Adam in Lake George, New York. I'd just like to comment on how proud I was of Drew Stafford, our young guys. A lot of heart and looking forward to good things out of them from Adam in Lake George. And, yeah, it's a big goal for him, a big goal for the team. Very big point, too.
Watch him keep his head up when he goes in, too, all the way. He really never looked down at the puck at any time and really had a good feel for the goaltender and exactly where he was and what he had to do.
All right, we have a response from Brian Murray in his comments after the game about what occurred.
And then he sends out 5 guys and suckers a couple of the skill players. And you know, we have to address that at some point, whether the league will do it or we have to do it when we play Saturday in Ottawa.
You weren't expecting that? I mean, you put Alfie and Heatley and Spezza.
How would you, in the National Hockey League, when there's a hit that's a fair hit, and a guy didn't have his helmet properly or hit his head on the ice, and I put out skill players, and he sends out the 5 guys on his team that are going to start a fight. I guess I didn't expect it, no.
The fact that Drury didn't have his helmet on properly, is that something that you guys knew? Is that a reputation that he has or something that you noticed?
No, we didn't notice anything. I just saw it on the replay.
He had his helmet just on that particular play?
I don't know. It just fell off when he got bumped, and he hit his head on the ice. We didn't. Nobody wants to hit Chris Drury or Briere or sucker them or anything else, and Peters goes and Mayer go and sucker Jason Spezza. And obviously they were told to do it, so that's the disappointing part. And I know Lindy real well, and I've listened to the outcries on TV a number of times about calls and how brutal they have been. And then I watched it. I saw it live. I couldn't believe what he was complaining about. Then I go in and I double check to make sure that I saw right. And he kept telling me he elbowed him in the head. The elbow was down tied to his side. I mean, it's disappointing. that, you know, when a guy cries wolf, that he then responds that way. And how can when he goes on TV and says, my guy got run and it was a dirty play, how can you believe that anymore? So it's maddening. It's very maddening, and I'm disappointed that they did that.
What do you think Saturday will be like?
It'll be a hockey game. It'll just be a hockey game.
Okay. Wow. You want to respond to that? Your eyes lit up.
I can respond to that. You know what I would do on Saturday when you go there, Lindy? Do the exact same thing you did this time. Because you know what? If you sit back, people are going to go, oh, they did it once, but they didn't. You know what? Go at him again. You want to send a message? Go at him again. It was a bad hit. You know what? He's going to stick up for his player, and he's going to say it was no elbow. I don't think it was an elbow, but I think he hit him late, and he hit him when his head was turned, and he was in a vulnerable position. Should not have happened. You know what? Go at him. Go at him every shift. Keep throwing him at him. You got your guys.
He's obviously, Mike Murray is standing up for his player. If he went out and said, but if he goes out and says, yeah, my player made a dirty hit, you know, he loses respect in the room. But I don't know how Brian Murray could sit there and say he didn't run him. He ran him.
Well, look, the table is set, certainly for Saturday night. And sometimes now he's talking about this game is going to be a rough hockey game. That's exactly what he was saying. Somebody's going to pay a price in here. But what I like is the idea to come out right away and turn the tables on them before it just doesn't go that way.
Yep.
Get them straightened out early.
Exactly.
And that would be just jaw-dropping. I mean, that's the last thing they expect.
All right, just let's show the hit one more time. And Brian Murray, you said you're watching on TV. Hopefully he's seeing this. Again, clearly the shot is gone, doesn't have the puck, and it's after the play. And I don't know.
Well, he's talking about his helmet not properly on his head.
Yeah.
Well, when you get in the head, it's going to go. You know, that thing is going to come off. It's not, you know, nailed to your head or screwed to your head. You know, it's going to head off when you have, you know, contact with that head. They're not made to totally stay on your head. You know what? And he did not do anything to defuse this whole situation. You know, if he had to come out, hey, you know what, it's over with, you know, blah, blah, blah. No, he's, you know, just kind of add fuel to the fire. You know, if I was the Buffalo Sabres right now, I'd be listening to that, and I'd be like, oh, let's get there. Let's get this going now and get fired up, because I'll give you a little hint. Sabres got an awful lot more firepower when it comes to that type of game than what the Ottawa Senators do.
Well, Brian McGran's excited. He'll get the dress on Saturday.
Well, he's going to be a busy man because he's going to have his hands full because, you know, you're going to have Mersey coming at you. You're going to have Coletta still going. You're going to have Andrew. All these guys are going to continue to come at these players. And you know what? He's talking about going after star players. That's what we do. That's what you do. That's the message you're sending. You're going to take it ours. We're going to take one of yours.
But it should be pointed out, and, you know, Lindy did it the right way. Okay, you go at our players, we'll go at yours, but we'll challenge you, you know, straight up. And the player didn't take on the challenge. Talking for Ottawa. The way not to do it is to go and do a cheap shot, is it? I mean, because that's what happened to Drury, and obviously
well, it's not as if in any situation the Sabres jumped the Ottawa Senators.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
You know, they stood, they gave them the opportunity, hey, let's go, let's go, let's go. If it's not going to happen, then you take it one step farther and you try to initiate it a little more. You know what? They knew what happened. Why do you think they didn't fight back? They didn't want anything to do with it. They didn't want anything to do with it. They just wanted to rush it under the mat and get the game going because they knew the situation and what it could turn into. I don't blame them. I wouldn't want any part of it either if my player did what he did.
When you're talking about jumping a guy and he doesn't see it coming, I mean, that's one thing.
Right.
But I think they're pretty well straight up with him. I mean, you know, Mayer just faced man for man. I mean, everyone was face up, so it's not like you jumped somebody.
There was no cheap shot.
No, you caught him off guard, or you suckered a guy, or whatever. It wasn't like that at all. So they faced him man to man. Said, "Here, this is it. Let's drop him, back off, and go."
Anybody want to take a road trip to Ottawa on Saturday?
There could be a lot of people wishing to be at that game.
Eastern Conference standings right now: Sabres with 87 points. Again, that's tops in the NHL. Devils with 82. Ottawa in fifth there at 74. Again, a big 2 points for the Sabres. 13 points now ahead of the Ottawa Senators, and Saturday's game big for many reasons now. For points,
the NHL got to be going nuts right now with Montreal and Toronto out of the playoffs. You know, they always want those big market teams. They want the Canadian teams in, get more attention. Bang, they're not there right now. They're in big, big trouble.
All right, still plenty of time for them to get in. We come back, we'll have the new era, 3 stars. Sabres win in the shootout, 6-5 here on MSG.
Welcome back to the Lexus Shootout, brought to you by Northtown Lexus.
Danny Heatley with 2 goals, the 3rd star. Thomas Vanek with 2 goals for Buffalo, the 2nd star. And Drew Stafford, the shootout deciding goal, gets the 1st star tonight here in the arena. Let's see what Mr. Robitaille thinks in his new area.
That's pretty good grip they have. I'm going to throw a different player in there. The number 3 star for me tonight was Dmitry Kalinin. Now that he went full throttle and he was engaged all night long. Moved up exceptionally well. Heatley just continues to roll along here, plays his best hockey, it seems, against Buffalo. The number 1 star tonight, and his timing was almost flawless, was Thomas Vanek, who just continues to roll along, and he's having the time of his life right now.
Yeah, he played extremely well. My number 3 star is Mike Ryan. I thought he was fabulous, skated well, physical, did all the little things, was involved offensively, created. Nice game out of Mike. Probably the best game he's played here. Number 2, Danny Healy. He just continues to keep scoring against his Sabre team. Number 1, Thomas Vanek. You know, I talked about it during the game. It just seemed like the more this guy played, the better he got. Even with a short bench, he was out there every other shift, and he just kept going and going and going and got better and better as the game went on.
Yeah, we talked about it, too, during the intermission. He's able to find the holes, and he's getting sneaky now, Vanek. I mean, he just... the peripheral, and he'll dart in, and he scored his first goal darting in, deflecting the shot from Pominville, and the way he stole the puck to score his second, again, just darted in.
And some players, not a lot, but some players, they really know the quiet area of the ice where not much is happening, and they eyeball things. They just get a sense and a feel for how the play is coming together, and they move, and the timing is just impeccable, especially when he's going to the net. I mean, and once he gets there, that's another problem. Then what do you do when you get there? You have to have some finish. And he hasn't any problem finishing, but it looks to me.
You know what? This guy's got fire in his tank, too. You know, it seems like every other shift he's coming off. He's frustrated about what happened because he, maybe didn't do what he wanted to do or didn't do enough. And he bangs doors and he talks to himself and he gets himself going, bang, right back out there again. It doesn't rattle him in any way. It seems like he gets himself in such a state and a frame of mind to go play, and he's such a competitor. Love it. You don't see that out of a lot of guys, especially young guys, and you're seeing it out of this guy right now.
Looks like he really needed that first year to find himself. It just took a while, and he got whatever he had to get out of his system. It's out. And he's a much purer hockey player now.
I think last year in the playoffs, sitting, not playing a lot, he had an opportunity to talk to him quite a bit during the games. Yeah. He grew up a lot, he learned a lot, and now, he does not want that ever to happen again.
Yeah, he didn't pout about it in the offseason. We said it many times. What did he do? He got himself in better shape and came in and he's over 30 goals now, 31 on the season.
Kevin, you can pout in that situation too. You go the exact opposite, and occasionally that happens, and it didn't happen. He went the other way, and he fought his way through it.
The old I'll show them. Let's take an email, shootout@sabres.com. Harry and Batavia, I love the style of game tonight by the Sabres. These guys are showing some real heart. Seeing this team take a stand should send a different message out to the league. Harry and Batavia. Now let's go back, maybe it was over a month ago when Wade Belak, and he said his comments were thrown out of context about you have to hit the Sabres to beat them, and it seems teams in the league are trying to do that, and they're still not beating the Sabres. So, I understand Harry's point, but the Sabres have shown that over the last month. All right, go ahead and try and hit us. We're tough enough to take it and still win.
Well, I think maybe, he might have had a little something to go on at the beginning. They kind of sat back a little bit, and it seemed like every time a team did come in, force them down low, finish their checks, they got a little, sidetracked and made some bad passes, weren't coming out of their zone good. So it's something these guys need time. But you know what? I think they took that and took it as a challenge and stood up. And like we've talked in the last few days, last few games, probably the last month, you could say they stood up to every challenge, whether it was Danny Briere going out there and battling Zdeno Chara and knocking him down in front of the net, or all little incidents like that just kind of build the character of this team. People talk about it. It's a small league. One guy makes a mistake out there, everybody's going to know about it. So when a team starts doing something strong and good, they're not only talking about the Sabre team now that they're fast, they're creative, they got great goaltending. They're talking, hey, we got another way that we have to try to beat them now, because if we try to play physical, they're going to give it right back to us. And a lot of the times, they can play physical and be disciplined too. And I think that's where they have the advantage over a lot of teams. A lot of teams try to play that physical side, but they take penalties, and it ends up costing me, because now that they got the power play going again, they're taking advantage of that. So,
I think created a lot of that is Buffalo, because of the speed they have. And most teams, or a lot of teams in the NHL, can't keep up with them because of that speed. So, the natural tendency is saying, oh, you have to hit them. You have to hit them then. Well, the reason they're thinking that way is because you can't stay with them in regards to speed. And they're losing. They're losing grasp of the game. They're pulling away from you with speed. So you just tend to fall into that thinking as well. You've got to hit them. that's the only way you can beat them. Well, it doesn't seem like that's right either.
All right, you can send us your emails. Shootout@sabres.com is our email address. Again, shootout@sabres.com. I don't know about you guys. I just want to go to bed tonight and wake up on Saturday. Like
it's
late
gonna be
afternoon.
a good one. A good one. Looking forward to it because I don't think this is over yet, and I hope it's not. I think we have a big message still to send.
All right, it'll be 7 p.m. face-off. It'll be the final regular season matchup between the Sabres and Sens, and should be a dandy. Until then, for Mike Robitaille and Rob Ray, I am Kevin Sylvester. Sabres win in a shootout tonight, 6-5 here on MSG.